Today we're combining Gift Storm with Twiddle Storm, Lotus Field, Gifts Ungiven, Twiddle, Past in Flames. Hopefully this makes a better modern deck. Let's go check it out. In front of you is Twiddle Gifts Storm, and I'm thrilled to be playing it for you today because I think it's quite the upgrade over what we played just a few weeks ago. You can find that video in the card above, and a quick refresher for everyone at home. This is what we played. It was a deck that struggled to find Lotus Field since it really only had 4 copies of Preordained to do so. It's also an engine deck based around Psychic Puppetry because you're an arcane strategy. So there's a lot of moving pieces and not finding everything you needed in order to win the game. We ultimately went 3-2, and this deck felt fine but not incredible. And then I recorded Gift Storm, which you can find in front of you right here, where I went 5-0, and it was really good. So today we're actually going to combine the two strategies into Twiddle Gift Storm. So why is this good? Why would you want to play this? So Gift Storm is inherently a strategy that's not good against creature removal on your Rail Monsoon Mage or Baral Chief of Compliance. Okay, well that makes sense, but you do gain the ability to have deterministic wins using Gifts Ungiven. Well, what if we combine these two decks together and you get a deterministic win that doesn't lose to creature removal? Okay, well this starts to sound pretty interesting, so that's what we're doing today. So with this build here, you still have your 4 copies of Lotus Field, you have 4 Preordain, but on top of that you have 4 copies of Consider to dig for Lotus Field, and 4 copies of Sylvan Scrying to just go find the Lotus Field. So now you're almost doubling the amount of cards you had in order to find your namesake strategy piece. And I think that's actually a meaningful change because your deck is going to be more consistent. On top of that, you gain Gifts Ungiven, giving you that deterministic pile. Well, without a Baral Chief of Compliance or Rail Monsoon Mage, how are you doing that? Well, you would play Gifts Ungiven floating 3 mana, the same as the other deck, and then you would go find Twiddle, Dream's Grip, Hidden Strings, and Past in Flames. And now you have a win that doesn't lose to creature removal that's deterministic. Alternatively, if you already have Past in Flames, instead of grabbing that, you could grab Deserted Temple for a 4-card pile that makes nothing but mana, as long as you have a land drop. But Deserted Temple is a Gifts Ungiven target. I thought I would just mention that. So those are the big changes here, and you still get to play Stock Up, which is something that I loved about the other deck. So you have all of this extra room in a deterministic pile that wins the game. The fear here is, how do you beat Graveyard Hate? Well, with Sylvan Scrying, you're able to just go grab a Boseiju Who Endures or an Otawara Soaring City in order to beat Graveyard Hate. You still have Consign to Memory as well to counter something like a Kozilek's Command, or counter your own Lotus Field triggers to play out your Lotus Field on the second turn, making you a full turn faster for those turn 3 wins. So Consign to Memory does double duty here. So Graveyard Hate can be countered by Consign to Memory, or Consign to Memory could even be a ramp spell for you. So you still have ways to be Graveyard Hate. On top of that, you do have 3 copies of Wish into the sideboard copy of Stormscale Scion, which was the card that I finished my league with to go 5-0 with in that Gift Storm video. So there are ways to beat Graveyard Hate here, and you could even Gifts Ungiven for different answers. You could go grab Boseiju Who Endures, Otawara Soaring City, Sylvan Scrying, Sink into Stupor. That's another way that you could actually just go get 4 answers to Graveyard Hate too. If it's a creature, you could grab the Grape Shot as well. So this deck has options. That's what I'm trying to say here. And hopefully you enjoyed the deck tech. I kind of want to just hop on in and get playing because I think that this deck is going to be really sweet. But I guess I should mention one more final thing before we hop on in. There's no red mana here. That's because Lotus Field makes all the red mana you need. You don't need red mana until you're winning, so please don't try to put in Steam Vents. It's just not necessary. That's all I've got. Alright, so let's go to the first match, and I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match, and we've opened up quite the hand. We have Lotus Field already. We have a turn 1 cantrip. We have Deserted Temple to work with our Lotus Field. We already have a Past in Flames. This hand is incredible. I will keep. The downside is we are on the draw. They play a Swamp and Inquisition of Kozilek. So this will probably take the Preordain if I had to guess, but we'll see. And they do take the Preordain. Sylvan Scrying, not really something we need here, but that's fine. Raven's Crime, I'll discard that Sylvan Scrying. So we're facing like an 8-rack deck here. They play a Marsh Flats. They grab another Swamp. And Thoughtseize. Okay. They knew all 5 cards. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand now. They take the Wish. Sure. Consign to Memory. What a draw! So we'll play the Lotus Field, and now I can counter the Sacrifice trigger past the turn. Wow, what a hit. Okay, so next turn, we might be able to put dragons into play depending on what happens here. They have an Emperor of Bones. I don't love that. So now they can exile my Wish. That actually was pretty good for them. We drew another land. So I could play the Past in Flames, and then really we'd be going all in on a Preordain. I don't know if I love that. They still have 2 cards in their hand. I'll play the Deserted Temple and we'll pass. The Emperor of Bones was quite good for them there. So now they can exile the Preordain. Ooh, they go after the Sylvan Scrying. Okay, I didn't really care about that. And now they attack. Sure. And they're going to pump up the Emperor of Bones so that I'll take 4. Sure. We go to my turn. Another Sylvan Scrying. Okay. So let's play this. I'll be floating 1 green. And then I guess I could grab like an Otawara here. Or I could grab like Hedge Maze. I think it should probably just be the Hedge Maze. And then I'll play the Hedge Maze. Sink in a Stupor. We don't need that. That can go to the graveyard. And I will untap the Lotus Field, pass the turn. Emperor of Bones, and they exile Sylvan Scrying once again. Okay, so I'll go to 12. And now they're passing. Another Twiddle. So we'd once again be going all in on this Preordain. I just don't know if that's a good idea. And I can hold the island for the Raven's Crime. My concern is if they play another Thoughtseize and take the Past in Flames, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Preordain gets 3 looks at 4 stock up, 2 more Wish, 3 Past in Flames. Another Preordain wouldn't be terrible. Consider... Is it insane to just play my spells here? That's what I'm wondering. Because I think if I drew Gifts Ungiven, I'd have a win even without the Past in Flames. So I think I'm going to go for it here. We'll play the Twiddle on the Lotus Field. Because I think I have so much mana in play that it's not unreasonable to try. And now this time I'll make red. We'll untap the Lotus Field. And now I'll use the Deserted Temple to untap the Lotus Field. We'll use one of the red. Play Past in Flames. We have 2 mana floating. We'll begin with the Preordain. In response, they flash in Orcish Bowmasters. I don't think I care about that. I could like try to sink in a Stupor, but that's not a good use of mana in my opinion. So we'll Preordain. That's 2 blanks. I don't love that. Those both go on the bottom. We hit a stock up. That's good. So we'll take 1 from the Orcish Bowmasters. I'll play my land. We'll just tap the Lotus Field for now, and we'll play the stock up, leaving a red mana floating. We find Gifts Ungiven and a Dream's Grip. I believe that's the game. So we'll take those 2, and now I can play the Dream's Grip, and we'll untap the Lotus Field. Okay, and now we will Dream's Grip again. Untap Lotus Field, Storm is 7. We'll play Twiddle. Everything going perfectly here in game number 1. Gifts Ungiven, target you. Storm 10. So now we can grab Hidden Strings, Grape Shot, Twiddle, and Dream's Grip. It doesn't really matter what the opponent gives me here unless for some reason they had main deck Surgical Extraction. This is a turn 5 win through 3 discard spells and a creature removing 3 cards from our graveyard. This is not bad. They gave us a pair of Twiddles, okay. And by a pair, I mean Hidden Strings is one of them. It's actually better here because we have the Deserted Temple, so it makes additional mana. So now we'll untap the Lotus Field. Tap it again. And now we'll untap. Flashback the Past in Flames. Storm 13. We'll tap the Lotus Field. Let's make some more mana. Hidden Strings. And this is the benefit of this build that we're playing today. So you might be saying, yeah, but like normal Gift Storm might have won too. And that's, completely possible. I'm not trying to deny that. But what I'm saying here is Fatal Push didn't matter. Or some other removal spell didn't matter. And that's the benefit here of just being a deck where you can ignore creature removal altogether. And now we'll Grape Shot for 17 and end it. Easy does it. Boom. Okay, target you. Sweet. And now we get to bring in Veil of Summer. Probably take out the Considers. Or maybe the Consigned Memories. Maybe it's okay to slow down against the discard deck. And then do you want something like Into the Floodmaw? I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind another Boseiju though, so I will bring that in. Maybe we'll cut one Consider. That seems fine. Game number 2, we've opened up a decent hand. We don't have the Lotus Field this time, but we do have some quality cards, so I would like to try it. They play turn 1 Swamp and Thoughtseize. Take your pick. I would guess Veil of Summer, but we'll see. They did lose the last game to Past in Flames, so if they have the Emperor of Bones again, they could take the Past in Flames and then just exile it. We drew Preordain. Let's play that. Gifts Ungiven. An interesting one. We do have 4 lands already. I think I'll keep the Gifts Ungiven. Pass the turn. They play basic Swamp and pass. We draw another island. I'll play the Boseiju who endures and pass. So they might have an Orcish Bowmasters here. There's no reason to play Consider at sorcery speed and play directly into Orcish Bowmasters. And they just wasted a full turn holding open Orcish Bowmasters. I'm going to just not play the Consider into it. The Rack. Sure, so I have 6 cards in hand, so that's not going to do anything right now. And I'm still not going to play into Orcish Bowmasters. We'll just take my turn. Lotus Field. Don't mind if I do. Now they decide to play the Bowmasters after waiting a full turn cycle. I think that was a mistake on their part. I'll get rid of the Lotus Field here. We don't need another. Drawing Twiddle was huge. So I believe I have a deterministic win on my next turn. We'll play the Lotus Field. Get rid of these. And pass. They play a land. Damping Sphere. That hurts. Okay, I do have Sink in a Stupor, but the Damping Sphere might do me in here. I suppose I could have just played the Deserted Temple and passed, but I wasn't expecting to get Damping Sphered. Another fetching with the Verdant Catacombs. And another The Rack. Sure. Okay. They have 1 card in their hand. We find Boseiju. I don't have a green mana for it, though. And they Surgical Boseiju after I drew it. No way! There's only 1 other one in the deck. That's just bad beats. Ay, ay, ay. Sometimes that's how Magic goes. I'm still in this game. I just have to draw another blue mana. We'll play our island and pass. So the Lotus Field only taps for colorless. But next turn, I could play the Deserted Temple and then filter the colorless from Lotus Field into a blue using Deserted Temple. But I would still need 1 more land for that. So we'll take a hit. The Rack still doesn't do anything. Hedge Maze. We'll play the Hedge Maze. Keep the Dream's Grip. And now I think I have a win on my turn. Without having to pass the turn. Give them a full turn cycle. Because normally I would have had to Sink in a Stupor on their end step. And then untap and try to win. Now I can just win on my main phase. Assuming they don't draw a discard spell. They put Inquisition of Kozilek to their graveyard when they know that I have Sink in a Stupor in my hand. That's crazy. They animate the Mishra's Factory. That is wild to me that I have the answer in my hand, they know about it, and they put the discard spell to the graveyard. They deserve this L. Okay. We'll play Deserted Temple. And I will now play Sink in a Stupor, bouncing the Damping Sphere. Play the Twiddle. Play Dream's Grip. Tap the Lotus Field again. We'll Gifts Ungiven target you. So now we grab Dream's Grip, Twiddle, Hidden Strings, and then 1 other card. So here we've already played our land, so it doesn't make sense to get the Deserted Temple when we have Past in Flames. So I'm thinking like maybe a stock up here. Yeah, we'll grab stock up. And as long as I get one untap effect, we win. So it doesn't really matter what else they give me. So now we'll play the hidden strings on Lotus Field and Deserted Temple. Yes, yes. And now we'll tap the Lotus Field for mana. Untap it using the Deserted Temple. Tap it. And then by them giving me hidden strings, they actually gave me an extra mana here. And now we will hidden strings again. Tap the Lotus Field for blue. We'll play Twiddle. Tap it again. Dream's Grip. Storm is 8. Yeah, this is a really good showing for the deck here in match number 1. I will say that. Play another Dream's Grip because I can. Storm 11. Let's play Stock Up. Storm 12. We find Wish and another Stock Up. We'll tap the Lotus Field for red. We'll play the Wish. Storm 13, and they're at 14, so Grape Shot just finishes them off here. Target you. And that's the match. So a questionable play from our opponent with that Inquisition of Kozilek leads to us getting the match win. I don't mind. We are now 1-0 in this modern league. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Welcome to the second round. We are on the draw, and I've opened up a hand where we have triple Lotus Field. So this hand is basically a mulligan to 5, and we're most likely facing a control deck due to the Kaheera, the Orphan Guard that's been revealed. Would a mulligan to 6 be better than this mulligan to 5? That is my question. And I think the answer is probably, so we're going to send it back. We'll keep this and get rid of Wish. They play a first turn Meticulous Archive and keep the card on top. We draw a Twiddle effect. I'll play Island and Preordain. We'll get rid of both of these. I don't need either of those effects right now. Gifts Ungiven. So no Lotus Field quite yet. They play Flooded Strand. Grape Shot. Not a very good draw. We will pass. They search out Meticulous Archive and cycles a Lorien Revealed. Okay. They get rid of Force of Negation. That's interesting. They play the land. I will fetch and grab our Hedge Maze. Get rid of the hidden string. So now they'll know what we're playing. Another Gifts Ungiven. I just have to pass the turn now. End step, they play Tune the Narrative. Land number 4. They have 6 cards in their hand. Scalding Tarn. So this will allow me to play the stock up that's definitely not going to resolve. We'll grab the basic island and play stock up. Oh no, counterspell. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was a world in which that card resolved, so that makes sense. They play land number 5. Is this big Teferi? No, Kaheera to hand. Okay, that's fine. They have 6 cards now. We draw another Twiddle. I will pass. And now they play the Kaheera the Orphan Guard. Sure. I would love a Lotus Field, please. Another Twiddle. This is the downside of sending back that hand, but a triple Lotus Field hand isn't good is the problem. I think I'm supposed to go to cleanup. Maybe get rid of Consigned to Memory. They play land number 6. And now they attack. Ouch. 6 cards still in their hand. We find the Lotus Field after I get rid of Consigned to Memory. That hurt. We'll play the Lotus Field. Get rid of our 2 lands, actually. Nah, it's fine. We'll pass. Now they fetch. Free Steam Vents. They cycle Lorien Revealed. That's a card at this point of the game where I would almost expect them to hardcast it, but maybe their hand is better than I think. And now we'll take a draw. Consider. Let's play the Consider. Get rid of Consider. I was hoping for another land there. I guess what I could do is just try to Grape Shot the Kaheera to buy out a counterspell. Okay, we'll do this. Is Grape Shot good enough to counter here to get rid of their clock? Ooh, Kaheera down. No creature on the end step either. They play another land. They have so much mana here. Days Undoing. I liked my hand. Come on. Ah, okay. We'll play Polluted Delta. Or at least I think I do. And we'll pass. End step Solitude? Subtlety. Sure. I wonder if this is a good spot to try to resolve Gifts Ungiven. We'll target them. Gifts Ungiven on the stack. It resolves. We'll grab Past in Flames, Wish, Stock Up, and a Dream's Grip. They gave me Past in Flames and Stock Up. Okay. So I have 8 cards in my hand. We'll go to cleanup and just discard the other Lotus Field. Field of Ruin. They play their own Stock Up. So my concern here is a Narset plus Days Undoing. That's what I'm afraid of at the moment. And there's the Narset. So I'm going to fetch in response and play Consider. We'll grab the Breeding Pool. If they have the Days Undoing, like, congratulations, you've earned it. We'll play Consider. We'll get rid of the other Past in Flames. Please don't have Days Undoing. Pretty please, don't do it. Narset has resolved. They're going to attack. Based on them attacking and not using the Narset, I think they have the Days Undoing. They use the Narset, okay. They fine-tune the narrative. 3 mana for a Days Undoing. Yep, we have been KO'd. Ah, brutal. We'll play Stock Up. Finds another Stock Up, and is land better than a cantrip here? I guess Consider I can play on their turn. We'll pass. I just took too long to set up this game. They find another Stock Up. They play it. They played Hallowed Fountain untapped. We take 3 damage down to 3. The Fairy Time Raveler. I'll respond with a Consider. Get rid of the hidden strings. We find a Twiddle. And now they plus the Teferi. Sure. We find Wish. Let's begin with Stock Up. I mean, the only way we win this is if our opponent has nothing. Like, no counter spells at all. But, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we're even in a spot where that's possible after getting our hand completely shredded. And they do have a counter spell, so we lose. Okay. So game 1 didn't go our way. The triple Lotus Field hand being our 7 really hurt. I'll bring in the Masseju in case they have, like, Deafening Silence or something. And then we want Veil of Summer. I would also like all of the Pact of Negations. I'm going to board out Considers and Consign to Memory. That's an even 60. You could try to bring in Into the Flood Maw just for Narset, but I kind of think that's playing like a coward. I understand we lost to it, but outside of the Narset, Into the Flood Maw doesn't really have targets, and it's kind of an embarrassing card to have in your deck. So instead, we're just going to focus on being a better combo deck and, you know, achieving that. Game number 2, we're on the play. This hand's really clunky. I think we're supposed to send that back. This is good. We'll keep. Get rid of the Sylvan Scrying. And something I keep on forgetting to mention in the deck tech, so I will mention it now, is our channel is about 175 subscribers away from 20,000, and it would mean a lot to me if you're not subscribed if you did. Basically, it's just a personal goal of mine, and I would like to hit it. YouTube says that roughly 40,000 to 50,000 people each month watch the channel, but less than half of you are subscribed. So please, please, please subscribe. Support what I do. We'll play Preordain. I like both of these, so I think we'll keep both. Pass the turn. They play an island. We'll play an island. Now they cycle a Lorien Revealed. This is a spot where Hidden Strings looks less good, because if I wanted to try to go off next turn, I mean, I'm probably not going to, but I don't have another thing to untap. Another Lotus Field wasn't a very good draw. We'll get rid of our lands, pass. A kind of funny play, I mean, it's not realistic, it's just funny, is if for some reason you really wanted to, you could Dream Script to untap your Lotus Field, play Wish, play your Lotus Field, and then Consign to Memory the other trigger, and then you could Hidden Strings and untap both. You would need like other payoffs in your hand to make this a worthwhile play, but it's a funny option to have. And Pact of Negation. We are not in a spot where we can try to do anything here, so I will pass. Steam Vents, okay. They have 6 cards in their hand. Rest in peace. So now we're looking at Stormscale Scion as our payoff spell, but that doesn't really play super well with the Pact of Negation. Another Wish. Think we're supposed to pass here. They play Otawara. Okay. And Teferi Time Raveler. So now my Pact of Negations don't do anything. This is a beating. They minus the Teferi. We draw a Scalding Tarn. We'll play it. And pass. They tune the narrative. We do have 2 copies of Otawara Soaring City. So we could draw into one of those and then bounce the Teferi Time Raveler and try to win that way. If we wanted the protection from Pact of Negation. I will fetch. Grab a Hedge Maze. Speaking of Otawara. Okay, we'll keep that. Trying to think of what I should do this turn. I think it's just discard the Lotus Field. Yeah, it's probably just getting rid of the Lotus Field. And step they play Stock Up. Stock Up at instant speed is very good. I will say that. And now they fetch with Flooded Strand. We're facing a deck that's just built to prey on combo decks by the looks of it. And sometimes that happens. Like, sometimes you just lose. That's a part of Magic. Okay. They still have 6 cards in their hand here. Is this the spot where I want to try to do something? Even if I could Pact of Negation, I can't even pay for 1. And I can't play both. I think I'm going to just be patient and wait another turn. We'll play Sink in a Stupor as a land. Pass the turn. So now I can pay for 1 Pact of Negation. They plus Teferi Time Raveler again. Narset Parter of Veils. If they Daze Undoing, I can Otawara and bounce the Narset in response. We know that they have Force of Negation, so there's really no reason for me to try to jam here. Stock up. I will try to untap my Lotus Field. It's a little risky because if they counterspell this, I won't have Otawara open. And it looks like they are going to counterspell. That's a bummer. Okay. Let's try stock up then. It resolves. Another Otawara and Polluted Delta. We'll play the Polluted Delta, pass the turn. If they have the Daze Undoing, I lose. And they do. Okay. So they got me. Bummer. Sometimes you face the deck built to be combo. We're 1-1 in this modern league. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For round number 3, let's bounce back from that tough loss. We're on the play. My opponent seems to be revealing a companion here. Another Kaheera the Orphan Guard, okay. This hand seems reasonable, we'll keep. First turn Hedge Maze. Find Stock Up, I think we want that. Hallowed Fountain, so we get a chance at redemption here to see if I can beat the control deck. We'll play Misty Rainforest and pass. Mystic Gate. End step we'll fetch and probably grab the Breeding Pool. Not a whole lot of fetchables in this deck, and that's on purpose. It's just the fact that you need some number of them, but you don't want to have too many because you want a bunch of utility lands in your Sylvan Scrying deck. We'll play Stock Up. Looks like this is going to eat a counter spell. Okay. Pass the turn. Mistrise Village. Let's play Consider. Get rid of the Twiddle. So this will tell them what we're playing. And I drew a fetch land. We have all of our fetchables, so this card doesn't do anything. Pass the turn. They play Meticulous Archive. Gets rid of Supreme Verdict. Hidden String. So I could try to play the Stock Up here. It's just, is it good to play it into 3 open mana? I don't know. Looks like they're going to miss their land drop. I was thinking about it. I should play out the Polluted Delta in case we draw Lotus Field. It's a land that I don't care about sacrificing. The Fairy Time Raveler. I think I'm going to respond and tap their Hallowed Fountain. So that way I can try to resolve Stock Up on my turn. Alright, so we'll say no, I don't want to untap. And now we'll pass and the Teferi Time Raveler will resolve. They plus the Teferi. I'm sorry, they minus the Teferi. Now they have 8 cards in hand. So they could still have Force of Negation here, which would be a problem. Deserted Temple. We'll play stock up. It quickly resolves. We don't find Lotus Field. We'll take Dream's Grip and Boseiju Who Endures. We also didn't find any other payoffs. Pass. They plus the Teferi Time Raveler. I feel like we just missed a really good window. Sylvan Scrying, no chance that resolves, but we have to just play it. Spell Snare. Okay. They plus the Teferi Time Raveler. Preordain. We'll try it. And they play Counter Spell. We will pass. Meticulous Archive. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Sure. They plus the Teferi. I'm afraid that we've lost this one. Just wait. We didn't draw the cards we wanted. Worm's Chant. Sure. I mean, I'm not doing anything here. I'm just going to go to the next one. Bummer. We'll bring in Pact of Negation, Veil of Summer, and the Boseiju Who Endures. We'll take out Consign to Memory. And I think I'm actually going to try boarding down on Twiddles this time. I'll leave in one Hidden Strings. Maybe we don't want the Boseiju. Like, I haven't really seen... Actually, we saw Stony Silence. Or, I'm sorry, Rest in Peace last round, so I do want Boseiju for that. Maybe, like, 2 Consider, then. It just seems like this Jeskai control deck is not a good matchup, and we've paired into it twice. Game number 2. Our opponent has revealed their Kaheera. I mean, this hand is fine, assuming you draw a green source on turn 2 to go get your Lotus Field. I wish that this Grape Shot was a land. I will say that. We'll play the island and Preordain, looking for a fetch land. We don't find one. Bottom both of those. And I missed on the land. That hurts. We're playing 21 lands today, which is more than I normally play, just because we are a deck that wins with Lotus Field. So when you were a One Ring deck, those decks tend to play more lands, but they often only play 20. We're actually playing an extra one here today. I draw a land, but it doesn't produce green mana. It's the only... Okay, I guess there's Otawara. It's the only other fetchable in the deck that doesn't produce green. They grab a Meticulous Archive. So now that we've missed the window on green mana, I doubt that this Sylvan Scrying resolves. Isochron Scepter. So they have Scepter Chant in their deck. Sure. And they have the Orm's Chant. We do have 2 copies of Boseiju, but I'm not drawing anything we need here. We also have 2 copies of Otawara Soaring City. And now every turn they're going to Isochron Scepter, Orm's Chant me, so I can't play spells. Alright, Orm's Chant has resolved. There's the green mana source that is way too late. And now they fetch. Cycle's Lorien revealed. We'll fetch using the Scalding Tarn. Go grab our Hedge Maze. Veil of Summer does not help here. That can go to the graveyard. Isochron Scepter, so they Orm's Chant me once again. Pact of Negation. So we'll go to cleanup, discard the Grape Shot. So you can Pact of Negation the Orm's Chant because it's putting a spell on the stack. The downside is we still don't have a Lotus Field. And now they have Teferi Time Raveler, so now I can't Pact of Negation the Orm's Chant. But they are losing Scepter Chant here, so they must have a counter spell, like a Spell Snare or a Force of Negation, because they're giving me a window here. We draw Gifts Ungiven. We'll play the Sylvan Scrying. And they do have the Spell Snare. I could have tried twiddling, but I felt like this was... If I was able to get the Lotus Field here, I had a window to win. So I felt like it was worth taking the chance on, but I'm just punished. Okay. Narset, Parter of Veils. They play Scalding Tarn. They find another Narset, Parter of Veils. Yep. Another Pact of Negation. Alright, I value my time here on this planet. I'm not going to spend all day sitting here. We are now 1 and 2. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Okay, so it's match number 4. We've lost the last 2 matches to Jeskai Control. And I couldn't help but wonder, how popular is that deck? Like, did it have a strong finish recently? So I looked it up. No top finishes. Okay. Well, what percentage of the metagame is it? It's 0.4%, less than 1% of the metagame, and we just happened to run into it twice. So Magic is a game of variance. odd things happen sometimes. I'm not going to sweat it. We're just going to focus on winning match number 4. And we've opened up a reasonable hand. I'll try this. We'll play Hedge Maze, Surveil away the hidden strings. We can always use Past in Flames to use that card later. Basic Island. Into Hedron grabs, so we're facing Mill. Not a matchup I wanted. Yikes. Let's play Consider. Keep the Preordain. Play the Breeding Pool. I don't want to search my deck because I don't want to turn on Archive Trap. We'll play Preordain. I have to bottom both of these. We just have to find the Lotus Field. Sylvan Scrying, so if I'm able to resolve this next turn, we have access to Lotus Field. They play the Hedron Crab. We milled Lotus Field, so now if they have Surgical Extraction, we lose. Okay. I will play Sylvan Scrying. Also, drawing triple 5 lands isn't good. If we're able to resolve the Sylvan Scrying, I'll play the Lotus Field. Pass the turn. So now the fear is that I just turned on Archive Trap. End step, they cycled Fractured Sanity. Okay, mill 2 Twiddle effects, and Twiddles are something I'd like right now. They play a Polluted Delta. I would have drawn more lands, so that's not the worst. But we mill over a Wish, so they could Surgical Extraction the Wish now. I do have Grape Shot in hand. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, so they hit both my Past in Flames and Wish, so now the Gifts Ungiven doesn't do anything. What to do? So I could try to... Okay, so I do have an avenue here. I can try to Gifts Ungiven for mana and then Wish in a Past in Flames. We'll play Twiddle. Gifts Ungiven targeting you. Select Twiddle. Dreams Grip. I don't have any hidden strings left. So I think they just have me. Yeah, they have me. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Brutal. Bring in Veil of Summer. Take out Consign to Memory. I think that's fine. Game number 2, we're on the play. Can't keep this. Send that back. This is keepable. We'll put the Grape Shot on the bottom. Keep. Grape Shot goes on the bottom of the deck. We'll play... I think I'd rather grab the Surveil in than play Preordain on the first turn. Cephalid Coliseum. And Ruin Crab. We'll fetch. Grab the Hedge Maze. Get rid of the Gifts Ungiven. We're just not in a spot where we need that card right now. And they have Archive Trap. I did not reveal a Lotus Field. I did flip over a Past in Flames, which is honestly good for me. Twiddle. So it looks like we're set up to try for a turn 3 win. I'll play the Sylvan Scrying. We'll grab Lotus Field. Pass the turn. Scalding Tarn. Mills over a few more copies of Twiddle. Watery Grave. I mill over Scalding Tarn, Dreams Grip, and a Preordain. Looks like they're passing the turn. 5 cards in their hand. Considers the draw. We'll play Lotus Field. We have 1 Veil of Summer left in our deck. We'll Twiddle, untap the Lotus Field. They have Drown in the Lock. Okay. Pass the turn. If they have Tasha's Hideous Laughter, we're probably out of this. Visions of Beyond, so now they get to draw 3. They play Basic Island, and we mill over the Veil of Summer. So last turn I was thinking about maybe playing Preordain, looking for protection. I actually would have hit the final Veil of Summer. My opponent was paying costs and then stopped, so I don't know what exactly they have, but it might be another Surgical Extraction, or well, a Surgical Extraction. And we drew the Past in Flames. Is that twice this league this is going to happen to me? No way! Twice this league we've had our Past in Flames Surgical Extracted, well, our 2 of exiled, and then I immediately drew the other. That's just some bad luck. Oh, wow. Okay. That is just bad beats. Yeah. Not a whole lot I can do about that. We'll play Preordain. They're at 14. Get rid of the Consider. So I could try to like chain stock ups and Twiddles. I've seen all 4 Twiddles. We have 1 Dream Script, 2 Dream Script, 3 Dream Script. All 4 Dream Scripts are in the graveyard, so that doesn't even work. So how I win this game at this point is Wish into Past in Flames. So we'll play Consider. I don't need the island. Grape Shot does not help. Pass the turn. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. We've officially lost. Wow. This has not been a good league for me. What's weird is I feel like the deck is actually good. I really do believe that. However, this league has been something else. And I don't like to complain a whole lot about luck or variance. It's been a lot of anomalies so far. So we're going to try to win that fifth and final round, get half my play points back. And no matter what happens, I'm probably going to chalk this league up to just, an odd situation, because I do think that the deck is actually really good. It's a bad showing in this league. The best legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory, featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The final round, we are on the draw. We've opened up an unplayable hand. We will send it back. Get rid of a polluted Delta. Sacred Foundry, so likely Boros Energy. Guide of Souls, it is in fact Boros Energy. So this is a deck where I would expect us to be favored, but we'll have to see if we can find Lotus Field. The Sage Who Endures will play the Scalding Tarn and pass. So what I meant in the previous rounds by being, like an odd league, is just how often do you face a deck that's 0.4% of the metagame that's a bad matchup back-to-back, and then face Mill, which is also an incredibly small percentage of the format and happens to be a nightmare. So we've had 3 nightmare matchups in a row, and I really do believe in the deck that we're playing today. I'm not just making that up, but, sometimes Magic doesn't go your way. Like, there's good days and bad days, and sometimes you just lose. They did not have a turn 2 play. Interesting. We'll fetch with the Scalding Tarn, grab the Hedge Maze, get rid of the Wish. We just have to find Lotus Field. Stock up, okay. Play the Misty Rainforest and we'll pass. On the end step, they grab an Elegant Parlor, and they kept the card on top. Blooded Strand. Sure, yeah, we'll take 1. Now they're fetching. 3 mana available. Fable of the Mirror, sure. So they're going to make a Goblin Shaman. We will fetch, grab, I don't know, basic island. We drew the Lotus Field. Do we have a win? So if I had played the Deserted Temple last turn, it would have helped me a little bit more. But I was hoping to thin the deck, and, what I wanted to happen worked. Like, we drew in a Lotus Field. So I could play Dreamscript. So we'd float 2 blue. Play Lotus Field, Dreamscript. That would bring me up to 4 mana. Hidden Strings would bring me up to 5. Gifts Ungiven needs 3 mana floating in order to win. So it's currently not a win. I think I'm going to just play the Deserted Temple, and then we'll play Stock Up and win next turn. We'll take Past in Flames and Hidden Strings. Pass the turn. They discard a Flage and a Galvanic Discharge. They dash a Ragavan. Okay. And now they attack. They create a treasure. And now Ragavan makes another treasure. They exiled Preordain. And they play Preordain. They put 2 cards on top. They play a land. And Ragavan will go back to their hand. Alright, it's time for us to win. We do have to worry about main deck Thraben Charm. But one of the nice things about playing Twiddle Storm is your deck has a built-in way to beat that. So that's what we're going to do here. I'll untap the Lotus Field. And now with this, I guess we can sacrifice the lands. There's no reason to do this all on the stack. So now I will Hidden Strings and untap. Actually, let's Hidden Strings and tap their mana first. So they're going to allow me to tap both. So now I don't have to worry about Orum's Chant or Thraben Charm or anything else. So now we play the Hidden Strings. And this is a trick you can do against blue decks too. It was something that I was considering against the Jeskai control decks. It just never came up. The blue decks just seem to have it all, and we never were really able to put together Lotus Field early, so it was never a possibility. But it is a trick that you have access to in order to beat those pesky blue decks. We'll untap the Lotus Field, tap the Lotus Field for blue. We'll play another copy of Dream's Grip, untap the Lotus Field, and now we'll play Gifts Ungiven, target you. We'll grab, we have 5 floating mana. We'll grab Stock Up, Grape Shot, Hidden Strings, and a Twiddle. At this point, we just have to build enough Storm to win the game. The game's already ours. And the opponent concedes. So now we have to win the post-board games, and this might seem odd, but I'm going to bring in Pact Negation. The thing that our opponent has that we care about is Orm's Chant and Thraben Charm. Pact Negation beats those, so we'll take out Consign to Memory. And then I do think like a couple copies of Into the Floodmaw could be okay, but it depends on what you want to take out. And to me, it's like a few copies of Consider. Game number 2, our opponent is taking a mulligan. I'm going to keep this hand, but it's basically a mulligan to 6 because we don't want double Lotus Field. I need to find another land so that way we could even play the first one. But we do have one Surveil land to grab with this Misty Rainforest, so I'm going to risk it. We're also on the draw. Turn 1 Ocelot Pride, okay. We find Twiddle. Not a terrible draw, but it's not the land that we need. Arena of Glory. Ouch, I go to 19. Another Ocelot Pride. I'm just going to fetch and Surveil. We'll grab the Hedge Maze. I did not find the land. Okay, so let's see if we find it here. No. I'll go to cleanup. Discard a Lotus Field. They play Elegant Parlor. And I'll take 4. I'm at 14 and now they get to make more cats. Missed the land again. We will bounce an Ocelot Pride. So they're about to attack for 5, which would put me to 9. And then they would get another cat on the end step, or possibly 2 cats if they replay the Ocelot Pride. So then on the following turn, that's actually lethal. So even if I were to draw land, it's too late. Guide of Souls. Interesting that they didn't give it haste. Okay. They're leaving open the white mana for Orm's Chant or Thraben Charm. Okay. Some misfortune on our part. We'll go to game 3. We are playing 21 lands if you count the Sink into Stupor, so I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could take out the Into the Floodmaws and put the Considers back in. We'll try that, I suppose, because the Into the Floodmaws did rot in my hand that whole game. On the play. Sure. I feel like I never find Lotus Field or I find it in pairs. Not what I want. We'll play the Scalding Tarn, we'll fetch, grab Island, play the Preordain, keep Preordain, pass the turn. Marsh Flats, another Preordain, we'll play 1. Deserted Temple's interesting, but it means that I'm on like a turn 4 plan, but I might be anyway with this Hidden String. So if that's the case, do I want both of these? I think I want the Deserted Temple and I don't want the Consider. We'll play the Breeding Pool. Ouch. Play Preordain. Put the Grape Shot on the bottom. We'll keep Consider. Pass the turn. They search out Elegant Parlor, Mountain, and Voice of Victory. Sure. We draw another land. I'll play Consider. Get rid of the basic. Another Deserted Temple. Yeah, we're flooded on lands this game. So next turn, let's say our opponent taps out, hypothetically. We could play Lotus Field floating 2, Deserted Temple, untap the Lotus Field, tap again, Hidden Strings into Past in Flames, and then try to win off of 4 cantrips and 1 Hidden Strings. It's possible. I don't know how likely it is, but it is possible. And now they attack. We'll take 3. They play Marsh Flats as their land for the turn, and now they're fetching for a basic Plains. 3 mana. Lage. So they're giving me the window to try to win here. They tanked for a long while there. And I think they were thinking, do I actually tap out here? And now I get my window to try to win. Another Consider. So we'll play Lotus Field. Sacrifice our lands. Use the Deserted Temple to untap. And now we have more mana. I'll play Hidden Strings. Yes, yes. And now we'll tap for red, and then use the Deserted Temple to untap the Lotus Field. And now I have a total of 7 mana, which means that I can Consider prior to Past in Flames, because I still have enough mana to Past in Flames Hidden Strings. We'll keep the Dream's Grip. Maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. We'll untap the Lotus Field. And now we'll play the Past in Flames. And now we can Hidden Strings again. Storm is 5. Let's start with Preordains. Wish. I believe this does it. We'll keep on top and put on the bottom. So at the worst, we can put a large amount of dragons in play, I think. So let's tap for blue, untap. So I'm 1 mana short of a bunch of dragons, actually. So I have 8 mana. You need 9 mana for dragons. So we'll play another Preordain, and if I hit a Twiddle, we have dragons. I don't hit a Twiddle. These go on the bottom. Well, that does it. Okay, so we have dragons. Storm 8. I also imagine we probably have enough mana to wish Gifts Ungiven win. Maybe I should have been thinking about that instead of dragons. Unless we're trying to beat Surgical, but they're tapped out and they haven't done anything yet, so that doesn't make any sense. We'll make red, untap. I'm just trying to think things through here. We'll tap for blue, we'll play the Dream's Grip, untap the Lotus Field. I have so much mana now. We'll play Wish. And this is Gifts Ungiven floating 3. Or I can just make a lot of dragons. We'll play the sideboard Gifts Ungiven. I think it's just better to not give them a turn. And we'll select Twiddle, Dream's Grip, the final Hidden Strings, and Past in Flames. So if you don't select the Past in Flames and get something else, they could actually fizzle you. And I don't want that to happen. We'll play the Hidden Strings. This time we tap for blue, Deserted Temple to untap, tap, and now we Past in Flames again. From 13, Hidden Strings, make more blue mana, untap the Lotus Field. From is 14, they're at 21. So we just have to play some more spells and then we've got it. Make more blue, untap the Lotus Field, play the Preordain. I guess we can keep Pact of Negation in case something funny were to happen. We'll play Consider, keep the Twiddle, make red mana, we'll Twiddle. Play Consider, Storm 19. We'll get rid of the Wish. Tap for blue. We'll play Twiddle out of the graveyard. Yes. And now we'll play Wish. And Grape Shot. So this league was a very sad 2-3, but I don't think that's reflective of the deck. I really don't. And I know that it sounds like I'm making excuses for a deck that didn't perform, but I think this deck is actually good. I really do. It's just we got paired into double Jeskai control that was all interaction, and then a nightmare matchup in mill. So sometimes you face bad matchups. That's a part of Magic. You don't always win all the time. But I really do believe that this deck is real. I'm not just saying that. Like, I do believe in the potential of this deck. There's a lot of room for growth here. And hopefully you watching, help me improve on it. I don't know what exactly I would change at this point because I think the main deck was actually very good. I do think the sideboard, maybe there's room for growth. I wouldn't switch to a red mana base. Like, having green for Sylvan Scrying is good. But I wonder if there's a better card we could be playing than like Pact of Negation. But Pact of Negation beats Orm's Chant. Veil of Summer beats counter spells. But the Pact of Negations versus Jeskai control, where they also have Orm's Chants, against a Fairy Time Raveler felt really bad. So it's tough to balance to beat all of the interaction your opponents can have. And sometimes you're not going to get there. And that happens too. But I think this deck is very real. I'm becoming a little, ranty here and repeating myself, so I'm probably just going to end the video now, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.